Okay, please confirm whether my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this slide we have to discuss. I think I have started with the opening address of this exception. Anyone remember clearly? Okay, everyone is silent. So let us proceed further. So this is a general rule that consideration must be from both the sides. Without consideration, no contract can be formed. Now, as per section 25, law itself have provided some exceptions where even without the consideration, there will be a contract. I got a message in the chat box. Okay, so we have started with the first point, that love and affection. So the concept here is that even there is a consideration from one side, but if matter falls within section 25 of Indian Contract Act, only then a valid contract can be formed. Otherwise, the general rule is the consideration must be from both the sides. Lack of consideration from either of the sides leads to null situation. That means it cannot form a contract. It can only form a contract if the matter falls within section 25. We have started with a point, love and affection, that as per law consider love and affection also as a form of consideration. So this is interesting to know that how law consider it. So we are going to discuss it. So let us check a few examples. First, the point is that if the matter falls within section 25 and if one party doesn't give the consideration, then also it can be considered as a contract, but it should cover some points which is provided in section 25. So if there is a love and affection from one side, we can say it is a contract. So love and affection, it can be considered as a consideration from one party. Now everyone can say that I can't give consideration because I am giving love and affection, which could be a consideration from my side under section 25. So we have to analyze it, that what kind of love and affection they are talking about. So this is a part of discussion. Aditya Anand, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Aditya, switch on your video also.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aditya, can you name any good friend of yours?
Yes, his name is Avinash.
Avinash.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us take you and Avinash in a picture. So Aditya,
Yes.
You want to sell your car.
Yes, sir.
When you are going to sell your car, whether the documents of a car need to be transferred to the other party?
Yes, of course, they need to be looked after.
Regional Transport Office.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now, when you're gonna sell your car,
yes, sir,
in RTO, you also have to fill some document for the transferring of that car. And in that document, there is one column that you have to tell the detail that how much money you have received in transferring your car. That means you are giving your car what you have received. In the form, it is to be mentioned. and there is a
Yes, sir.
verification by the RTO officers that whether you have received full amount or not. It is a general process of the transferring of the vehicle to the other party. That means selling
Yes, sir.
your car to the other party. So what happened? The first point says that if there is a love and affection from one side, this love and affection could be considered as a consideration. Now your friend Avinash, you both are having a very good friendship. Avinash has stated that I'll give you love and affection as a friend. Just transfer your card to me. What you
Without any money.
without any money. He'll tell that he has communicated to you that I am your friend. I'm giving you my friendships, love and affection. I am giving. So please transfer your car, and he's communicating that it is possible because it is provided under section 25, subsection 1.
Yes, sir.
So here, I think that you are not going to accept that proposal. Now, just to tell you everyone, Aditya, you can mute yourself and you can switch off your video. Though I have to ask, but I am going to elaborate it. Now, what law has stated, there is a confusion in the beginning when this section was implemented. How can we check that in what kind of relation we can consider as a love and affection as a consideration? So law have clarified it. Law have stated only in the near relations, and in the near relations, law have categorized it relation out of blood, relation out of marriages. Only those relations could be considered under point number 1. And if anything transfers from one party to another, and if one party is under the category of near relation, in that case, if that party, if not giving consideration, still the contract will be valid, and law will consider it as a contract even if it lacks a consideration from one side. But the only thing is the relation must be between near relation. Okay, the question I got in a chat box. So what if the child is adopted? So the answer is yes, if the child is adopted, but that adoption must be a legal adoption. So if the child is legally adopted, it can come under the category of near relation. Okay, so let me ask just few questions. Paushali Ghosh, kindly unmute yourself and switch on your video. Paushali, I have communicated two classification or two categorization of the concept of near relation. Relation out of blood, relation out of marriages.
Yes, sir.
What do you understand by relation out of blood?
Sir, which means that when relation out of blood means he should be a part of our family. Like when it
No,
is not a case of adoption.
I'm just asking the example. Which
Uh,
kind of relationship we can say it is out of blood relationship?
my father and mine,
Brother, sister,
brother, sister.
okay. Father and daughter,
Yes.
father and son, mother and son,
Mother and daughter. Yes.
okay. So this is the blood relationship. So if mother wants to transfer her property to her daughter, so daughter need not to pay. Daughter can take a plea that love and affection I am giving as my consideration, and mother is giving house. It stand valid. It comes under a valid contract because it comes under the situation number 1 of section 25.
Right.
Okay. Oshali, thank you. You can mute yourself. So let me ask Harivarth. Unmute yourself and switch on your video. Harry,
Yes, sir.
okay. So I hope first point is clear, relation out of blood relationship,
Yes, sir.
and relation out of marriages.
Yes, sir.
So what kind of relationship comes under this?
The person, if a person marries to another person, then he can form a contract,
Husband and wife?
husband and wife. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, all right. Thank you, Harry. You can mute yourself and switch off your video. So that is exception number one, that where love and affection, but do remember always, if an agreement is done out of conflict and quarrel, then a person cannot take a plea of point number one. That means it is very, very important that person can take only plea of point number one if there is a love and affection from the side of a party. If the party is always in a quarrel, always in a conflict, then that party cannot take a plea of point number one. Now, how it is to be decided whether a party in a quarrel or conflict, then it depends upon the parties. If they want to go to court, if they want to cancel their agreement, then court have to decide it on the base of evidence. So evidence have to be produced. So it depends. So the point here is there must be love and affection between the parties, near relation. Now, second point, past voluntary services. So as per the second point, if any person randomly have done any voluntary services, and based on the voluntary services in the future, if we promise that person that I will pay for your voluntary services, in that case, law create the relationship as a contractual relation, and law consider is as a contract, and the party have to pay the amount for that. Let us just discuss regarding the past voluntary services. Aman Vaibhav, unmute yourself and switch on your video. Aman, whether you are in a class? Okay, Aman is not here. Andanu Santoshi. So Andanu is also not here. Devi Vandana, kindly unmute yourself and switch on your video.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Devi, whether anything happened like this, that you found something lying on the road which belongs to someone else, but it is lost, but you got it.
Yes, sir.
Many times it happened that we found a lost purse lying on the road. Whether it happens?
Yes, sir. I had found a key, car key of
Please
someone.
speak a little louder.
Yes, sir. I had found a car key of someone.
Found a
Car key.
car key.
Keys.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, so whether you have traced the real owner of that car key?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had found.
All right. Whether you have asked the money of that services?
No, sir.
No. Now, just to tell you everyone that as per this example, so Devi found a lost key of someone lying on the road. She traced for the real owner of that car key and she delivered the car key to that person. This is a voluntary service, isn't it? We cannot ask money for that. Now what happened? The other party next day promised Devi that I am going to pay you 5,000 rupees for your services. Once this promise done, this become a contract, and she legally entitled to recover 5,000 rupees from that owner. Now, the other party is giving 5,000 rupees to Devi. What Devi is giving to the other person? She has already provided a voluntary services in the past. So that voluntary service law consider as a consideration from the side of Devi, and the consideration from the side of the other side is 5,000 rupees. So this is what the past voluntary services states. So if you see then from the other angle, it is a contract. Devi has already given the past voluntary service. The party is giving 5,000 rupees. It is a contract, but it can only comes into existence if the other party promises to pay something in return. If the other party do not promise for anything, in that case, second point doesn't comes into existence, because it will be just a voluntary service. Thank you, Devi. You can mute yourself and you can switch off the video. Okay. So as we have discussed this, so let us ask a few questions. Kuljit Singh Jassal. Kuljit, whether you are in a class?
Good morning, sir.
Kuljit, good morning. Kuljit, what we have discussed just now?
So, past voluntary services.
What is past voluntary service?
So actually, I was not here. I went to the washroom, so I didn't hear what you said.
What?
So I went to the washroom. I didn't hear what you discussed.
Okay, so Kuljit, mute yourself and switch off your video. Kindly be vigilant in a class, okay?
Yes, yes.
Afsana, whether you are in a class? Afsana
Yes, sir.
Azmi.
Yes, sir.
So Afsana, please elaborate what I have communicated.
We just did past voluntary services, which is the second of the section 27, 25. Sorry.
Afsana, please switch off your video.
Sir, I
because
didn't write
I think there is a
anything.
network issue. Just switch off your video and then speak.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I didn't write anything. Like I just wrote the point.
No, I'm just asking that what do you understand by point number 2, past voluntary services as a consideration? Afsana, am I audible to you?
Sir?
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Please mute yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are.
Mute yourself. Atul Sandeep. So Atul Sandeep is absent. Arun Nayak. Arun Nayak is also absent. Arpita Agarwal. Arpita Agarwal is also absent. Apurva Snehal.
Yes, sir.
Apurva, can you elaborate what we have discussed with point number 2?
Yes, sir. We discussed that past voluntary service can come into existence only if the other party promised to pay for that service. Otherwise, it won't it won't exist.
Okay. Thank you, Apurva. You can mute yourself. So in the crux, that past voluntary service could be considered as a consideration under section 25, provided that the past voluntary services given to the person, that person promises to give consideration in return of that past voluntary service. Once it is promised by the other party, it becomes a contract. Another party then bound to pay whatever he have promised. And against that, you can go to court if the other party, after promising, refused to provide the consideration whatever he have promised. This is as per point number 2. Let us proceed further. Point number 3, time barred debt. Okay, it's time barred debt is a purely a technical issue, and debt, I hope all of you are aware of debt. So Abhishek Swan, role number 3. Abhishek, whether you are in a class.
Yes, sir.
Abhishek, unmute yourself and switch on your video also.
Yes, sir.
Abhishek. Abhishek Swan, am I audible to you? Okay. Abhishek Chandra.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Abhishek, good morning. Abhishek, what do you mean by debt?
Sir, excuse me, sir.
What do you mean by debt? DEB.
Debt is if we take money from someone and if we do not pay them, then we are in debt.
Okay. Still, if you take a money,
Yes, sir.
the point is not whether you are not able to pay or able to pay. The point is, if you have taken any loan from anyone, it's a debt,
Yes, sir.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Which you have to repay to the
Unless we pay them, then till the time we are in debt.
Okay, fine. So, Abhishek,
Yes, sir.
regarding this debt, now suppose you have taken a debt 5,000 rupees, which you have to pay within 3 months.
Yes, sir.
Within 3 months, you're not able to pay. So then after that, what the other party can do?
Sir, they can take over my property or something that I have written in place of the 5,000 rupees.
How
Means
can they
they can-
take
Sir,
away your property?
Sir, in-
Can they send bouncers and pick you up?
No, sir, no, sir. Sir, in
Thank
banks,
you.
sir, we in banks when we take a loan, they usually give something, write in written form that I will give this in place of money if I cannot pay. Then like that only.
Okay. Abhishek, switch on your video and mute yourself. Thank you. But I need to ask some more. Let us check. Akash Priyadarshan Sahu. Akash, whether you are in a class.
Yes, sir.
Akash, same question. Like you have taken a loan of 5,000 rupees, you have to return it within 3 months. You're not able to return it. What the other party can do
Sir,
to recover that amount?
sir, if I have given something in at the time of loan, like
No, you have not given any security.
any security, oh, then he can file a case. I think so.
Okay. Can the other party kidnap you and then recover the amount?
Yes, sir, they can.
Absolutely not.
Sir, why not?
It's illegal. It's kidnapping.
Contact them.
If you're not able to pay the debt, it doesn't give a right to any person to opt for the crime. That is not like that. So Akash, your first answer is correct. That what the other party can do, the other party can go to court to recover the amount. Only this is the legal means available with the other party to recover the debts. Okay, this goes with everyone, whether it's a matter of bank, whether it's a matter of in person. So this is for everyone, that they can go approach the court. So one answer I got, that he can renew the loan and can charge additional interest on loan. The point is that he can charge the additional interest, but as per a contract or as per the terms and condition, whatever written in a contract. Now the point is, Aman, Akash, you have taken a loan from a bank. So anyone can take a loan from a bank, and you not able to return a loan from bank. Earlier, there is a practice from a bank that the bank has allotted this task to the recovery agents, a kind of a bouncers. They go to the home and they do the threatening to the other party that please repay the loan, otherwise we'll take care. But these days the practice is stopped by the Supreme Court. There are some guidelines. So the only way that the bank can recover the loan is by going in the court. So can approach the court. Now Akash, are you aware that whether bank can go to the court to recover this loan at any time? That means after 5 years, after 10 years, even after 50 years.
Sir, I think after the particular time that which given that we can repay the loan.
No. The point here is you have not repaid the loan. Now bank want to recover the amount from by going to the court. Can a bank go to court after 10 years, after 20 years? Or it's the wish of a bank that whenever they want to go, they can go.
Sir, I think whenever they want to go.
Okay, Akash, thank you. You can mute yourself.
Thank you.
So the point here is for everyone regarding these debts. When a party want to recover the amount of debt, party can only have one legal option. Party is only having, that is going to the court, approaching the court and requesting the court that kindly ask the other party to repay the loan with interest. The other party can go to a court only for a certain time. This is law. There is an Indian Limitation Act which prescribes the timeline to go to court. And within that timeline, if the other party don't go to court, after the lapse of that timeline, that debt become time barred. So what happened when a debt become a time barred debt? Then it cannot be recovered. So for example, I'm just taking a hypothetical example. Suppose you people have taken a loan for 5 lakh rupees from a bank and you're not able to repay it. Now, the moment the time starts that from a particular date, bank have to recover the amount. You're not able to pay the debt. Bank can go to court up to 90 days. Timeline available, that within 90 days bank have to approach the court. Now what happened? Bank have not approached the court within 90 days. After 90th day, this debt becomes time barred. And what is time barred is that after 90 days, bank cannot go to court to recover the amount. That means that debt becomes a time barred debt. the only option available with a bank to go to court and recover the amount. But bank have lapsed his timeline to go to court. When the timeline is lapsed, the debt become a time bar debt. Now what happened after 2 or 3 years? You become a very wise person and you have promised again to the bank that okay, there is some debt and I am not able to pay at that point of time, but I am promising now that now I'll pay my debt. So once you promise it to repay the debts, then you have to pay for it. So it is a concept related to time bar debt. So you are paying a debt what the other party is giving to you. So it is basically the other party have already given you the loan in the past, for which you have promised in the future to pay it, repay it. After it becomes a time bar. So this is the third consideration, the third aspect. So if anything confusing, then you can please ask again. Akshariti done, roll number 12. Whether you are in a class.
Yes, sir.
Akshariti.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Akshariti, whether you able to understand this concept, time bar debt?
Sir, can you explain once again?
What you have understood? Akshariti, what you have understood? I will repeat it, not an issue. But what is your takeaway, whatever we have discussed? I have spent approx 5 to 6 minutes on time bar debt. Okay, so please mute yourself. Akshariti, I am repeating again. So in simple words, that I'm taking an hypothetical example regarding time bar debt. Akshariti, you can switch off your video also. So in simple words, you have taken 5,000 rupees from your friend as a loan with a promise to return it after some time, suppose after 1 week. After 7 days, you have to return it. That means the 8th day, you have to return your loan from your friend. You not able to return it. From the 8th day, your friend got the right to go to court to recover the amount. Your friend got the right to go to court for 90 days only. But your friend somehow not able to approach the court within 90 days. After the lapse of 90 days, your friend lost all the rights to recover the amount from you. That means you need not to repay the loan which you have taken. If that right was lapsed, the other party lost the right to go to court. Now, after some time, 90 days lapsed, not able, the other party, your friend not able to approach the court, the debt becomes a time bar debt. Later on in future, you got some money and then you promise your friend that okay, that money was a time bar debt, but now I am promised you to return it. Once you make a promise, it will become a contract. Then law have to see that you are paying something to the other party, but what you are getting. So you need not to get anything because the other party have already advanced you a loan in the past. So that is a consideration from their side. Repaying a time bar debt is a consideration from your side. This is point number 3. Again, I'm saying it is very, very technical and it is related to the Indian Limitation Act. There is a Limitation Act which prescribes a timeline to go to court in the civil matters, but it is not applicable on the criminal matters. So that is the third point. So if there is any question from any side, then you can ask. Otherwise, I'll proceed further. Okay, gifts. And whenever we are giving gift, There's no requirement of getting the consideration from the other side. That means we cannot ask for the consideration from the other side. It is just a gift. So gift can be done even without a consideration, not require a consideration from the other side. And gift can be given to anyone, any kind of relationship. Point number 1, only with near relation regarding gift can be given to any other person without any consideration. And if there are certain situations where gifts needs to be registered, then in that case it can be written that it is consideration not required from the other side because it is a gift and it is provided under explanation of section 25. There is section 185 of the Indian Contract Act. It is related to agency, and under this, if you appoint any agent, that agency doesn't require a consideration. Anyone can become your agent to do a particular task. In that case, it is a contract, but consideration not required. So you can ask your friend that please go to the market and purchase a Bear Act on your behalf. So that person, that friend of yours will act as your agent. Against that, you need not to pay anything. So it is kind of an agency. So whenever the agency is created, it could be without any consideration. Though it is not a part of discussion at this topic, we are going to discuss the concept of agency in a separate head. So at that point of time, I'm going to elaborate now. So that is all in the concept of consideration. So if there is any question related to any point, so you feel free to ask the question. So we have completed the concept of consideration. Now, you feel free to ask the question, and regarding the syllabus of the examination. So I think from 22, you are having the midterm examination. So class representative, kindly please unmute yourself.
23 Feb.
23.
Yes, sir. 23 Feb to 27 Feb.
Okay, that means from Tuesday till Saturday, right?
Yes, sir.
And when you are having the exam of a contract, this business law?
Sir, 25. 25, sir. 25th Feb.
25th. And I think Friday will be our last class, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Before examination. Okay, fine. So the syllabus of the midterm examination is up to consideration, up till consideration. Okay. So from starting, whatever the concepts we have discussed, and I hope you got this handout. Whether you all got the handout, course handout. A class representative, kindly unmute yourself and switch on your video also. Who is the class representative? Akshariti?
Yes, sir.
Akshariti, whether your batch got the course handout
No, sir.
or not?
No, sir.
Why? Because I have, in the first lecture itself, I have shared that with the Office of School of Commerce. You people have not got that?
Yes, sir.
You got it, Kriti? You have? Okay. Faizan?
Yes, sir.
You have the course handout with you?
Sir, I have to check it once.
So, okay. So
sir.
After some time, we'll take a break.
Yes,
And
sir.
within that break, everyone please check whether you people are having a course handout or not. Okay.
Sure, sir.
And because the syllabus is written in the course handout, the syllabus is up to consideration. So whatever we have discussed. All right. Now, one thing is, Faizan, you can switch off the video. Another thing is related to the project work. Probably by this week, I am going to allot the topics to the groups which I have got, and probably I'm going to allot the final date for the submission of this project work is 15th March. All right. So after midterm, you will be roughly having 2 weeks for this preparation of your project. So class representative, kindly note it down that 15th March will be the last date for submission of the project work. And after that, the presentation part also I am going to do. So that's it. And regarding the syllabus, please communicate everyone that the syllabus is up to the concept of consideration, and questions, kind of a questions which could be asked in the examination. So majority of the question paper will be the practical approach. Okay. So rather than focusing on the theoretical approach, kindly study the topics as per the practical approach, because approx 75% of the question paper is related to your practical approach. Those who attended the classes attentively, only those students can able to answer. That means those who are not attentive in a class, those who have not taken a classes seriously, so it may be difficult for you, because the whole all the question based on the practical approach, that means real situations and situation what we face on the regular basis, whatever in life we are facing on the daily basis. So the questions are related to that only. So please take the practical approach rather than the theoretical approach. Okay. So that is it. And if there is anything you want to ask, please ask. After that, I'll give a break and then I'll start again the next lecture. So I'm going to start with the competency of the parties in the next lecture, but I'm giving you a time. So if there is any question from your side, so please feel free to ask. Or if you don't want to ask in the open public platform, then you can type in a chat box. Avita Lakra. Avita, kindly unmute yourself and switch on your video.
Yes.
Avita, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Avita, you have to speak a little louder. So Avita, what is the syllabus?
Yes, so you are
Please speak a little louder.
consideration.
Up to consideration?
Till consideration.
Till consideration. Kindly search for the course handout. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Avita, thank you. You can mute yourself. Okay, I got a question in my chat box. If I gift a property to someone, can he, she sell it immediately, or is there is a timeline, time limit? So the point here is, regarding gifting anything, selling it. So there is no timeline for selling it, for gifting anything. The timeline is only related to going to the court. Okay. So if you want to gift that property further, up to you. If you want to sell it immediately or on the later stage, immediately after several years, it's up to you. No one is going to intervene. But your right to go to court is within the timeline. That means the time limit is fixed to go to court. It's not like that whenever you want to go to court, you can go to court. The court have prescribed the time limit to go to court, to approach the court for any kind of relief, and it work as per Indian Limitation Act. So in the Limitation Act, the timeline is provided. So that is just a part which I have discussed regarding the time bar debt. Okay, if there is any other question, you can ask. Okay, so no question I have received. So I am giving a break till break for 10 minutes only. Okay. So sharp 10:30, sorry, 10:30. Okay, 12 to 13 minutes. So I am giving you a break and we will start our class sharp at 10:35. So I am just muting myself. I am switching off my camera and I am going to take the attendance in the last after the completion of that topic. So I'll begin my class again at 10:35. Okay. So till then you have a time, a break. Kindly search for the course handout also. If still you're not able to search, then I will